Hello everyone and welcome to Tom's Tomb of Horror. It's been a while since my last video, for which I apologise, but I have been watching my way through all of these Halloween films. There's not a small number of films here that I am ranking. I'm doing a ranking here for all 13 Halloween films, from my least favourite to my favourite in the usual format, as with the Friday the 13th and a Nightmare on Elm Street ranking. We are, of course, finishing off the holy trinity of slasher franchises here with the original, the classic Halloween franchise. Now, I will emphasise and stress this is obviously very much a personal ranking. It will be different to your own. What's always so enjoyable for me when I'm doing these kind of exercises is seeing other people's opinions. Sometimes your opinion may make me think differently about some of these films as well, but it's all art, it's all film, you know. It's always enjoyable to debate these things and the stories and the characters, the outcomes. So yeah, I'm now going to talk about all of these Halloween films in order from my least favourite to my favourite. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub because I'm trying to get myself into double figures here on this channel. Let's get to 10 subscribers. Come on, guys. But anyway, I'll start with my least favourite from this franchise, which is coming in here at number 13. It is Halloween Resurrection. Very, very goofy film, and it came out at a time when reality TV was really booming, you know, celebrity culture and reality TV combined to create this sort of manic and somewhat lead towards the world that we do indeed live in today. And, you know, I thought it was actually, as a snapshot of the time, a very kind of much in the vein of the cheesy reality TV style. But for me, it's my least favourite because it's a very poorly done film with characters that are extremely wooden for the most part. And you know, some ridiculous scenes. For some, I can see why you might have this as a guilty pleasure film. I do appreciate that, but for me, it's just a badly delivered affair overall, and I'm ranking this one as my least favourite. I just don't think that it really, it's just not a good film at all for me. So it comfortably comes in here at the bottom. Coming in next at number 12, I've gone for Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. And for me, again, this film, I don't think it has really very memorable characters. I feel like by this point in the Halloween franchise, in the sort of original set of films, we're just relying on Donald Pleasence and his moments to lift the film up a bit. And certainly by Halloween 6, I just found it difficult to kind of, A, really kind of get into the story behind the film, and B, just care about almost anybody in this film, maybe apart from Loomis, apart from Donald Pleasence. It was just a bad entry in this franchise for me. So, you know, as John Kenneth Moore wrote in his book Horror Films of the 1990s, The Curse of Michael Myers is a well-intentioned sequel so determined to answer questions, fill in details and enrich the mythology that at times it forgets to present a cogent narrative of characters that the audience can care about. That pretty much sums up the way I feel about Halloween 6, why it comes in here at number 12. Coming in next at number 11, I've got Rob Zombie's second Halloween film, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And, you know, the thing with both of the Rob Zombie Halloween films for me is they're both very dark, both very mean-spirited. And for slasher franchises, you know, I actually do enjoy a lot of gore, I enjoy a lot of brutality, and even a lot of films that are very dark. But for me, for Halloween and for slasher franchises, I find them, if they're very dark, they work a bit less for me personally. And I think Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is just very brutal. It's kill after kill, but the gore is almost overdone for me. I think the gore is done well in terms of the practical effects, but it's just overdone. It's just constant, and there's no reprieve from that. And I just feel like that gets a bit samey as this one goes on. So that's why Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 here comes in at number 11. Pretty low down, not at bottom, but pretty low down for me. I'm just generally less into both of the Rob Zombie Halloween films. A little bit of a spoiler maybe for what's to come. But at number 10, I've actually got a film from the David Gordon Green trilogy, the new trilogy, that's Halloween Kills. Now, this film is becoming a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me because I do actually enjoy the kills in Halloween Kills, as it happens. Hence, I guess maybe why they chose the title, because there's a lot of kills in this film. It's chaotic, but I think it's just generally a mess of a film. Wearing a film critic's hat, you could tear this film apart, really, with its lack of story or interesting kind of, its lack of good writing, I think, and overall, it just feels like a mess. But I do enjoy the kills. As a horror fan, I can enjoy this film more as a horror fan than as a film critic, and so it comes in here at number 10. Coming in next at number 9 is Rob Zombie's first Halloween film. Yes, I gave it away that this one might be quite low down. Um, this was a time when there were lots of remakes coming out, the late 2000s. You had lots of origin stories of heroes and villains. This all kind of was booming at this time, and Rob Zombie's original Halloween film, I think, was kind of like doing that thing. It was going back to Michael Myers' childhood and exploring that. As a Halloween fan, do we really need to explore Michael Myers' childhood? Why is a psychotic killer? I'm not so sure we really do. I think that Halloween and, its killer is better with his mystery element left alone. And, I don't really need to see Michael Myers and his dark, traumatic childhood, to be honest. But I think that was actually done okay. I didn't think it was done brilliantly, but I thought it was okay. Some respectable performances were within the first couple of acts of this film. But again, very dark, quite brutal, not my style of Halloween film, so that's why Rob Zombie's Halloween comes in here at number 9. Next up at number 8, I think I've got a divisive sequel in Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And this is a very, very entertaining sequel for me, if nothing else. I can sit down and watch this one. I think we're now into the films from 8 up to number 1 that I really can watch and replay over and over again. These are fun films to me from here on in. So Halloween 8, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I like the Rachel character, but I don't like the way she's dismissed and killed off in this film. Spoiler alert, maybe I should put that at the start of the video. But yes, I think personally, I actually didn't hate Tina. I'm something of a Tina defender, and I say that with the caveat that if I knew Tina in real life and she was a real life friend, I probably would find her on the annoying side. I'll be honest about that. However, as a film watcher and a horror fan, I think Tina Williams actually adds colour and dynamic to this film. I think she brings something that also helps with other character interactions and makes this film, like I say, it makes it a little bit more interesting to watch. I'd rather have a Tina Williams any day over a boring, plain character with nothing interesting about them. Give me Tina any day over one of those. And, I kind of like her as a character in a film. I think that she's a little overhated for me. But I see why people find her annoying. I do appreciate that. But for me, she's overhated. So yes, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, comes at number 8. I think I can see why it's a divisive film. I don't think it's certainly a great film again here. But this one has some entertainment value in it, at least for me, and some good kills as well. Now, next up at number 7, we've got the first of the David Gordon Green trilogy, Halloween 2018. I don't know if at this point this is controversial, whether the hype that surrounded this film has worn off a little bit, if you will, since the original release of the film in 2018. For me, though, it's just kind of like Force Awakens was to the Star Wars franchise. There's some good nostalgia, there's some good tension in this film, like with the original Halloween, or the early Halloween films. There's, some good kills, and, you've got Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, which obviously is always going to be a help. Jamie Lee Curtis. And you've also got the Adi Matichak character that I like as well, Allison, who I think brings something a little bit new as well to the franchise that I personally quite enjoy. I think she's very good in all of these 3 films, actually, I'll point out. But yeah, it doesn't bring anything much new to the franchise overall, I think, despite bringing in that slight generational element, if you like. And yeah, I just think it's kind of mid. It's decent, it's solid, but not for me my favourite by any stretch of the imagination, but solid enough to come in here at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we've got Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. I think this is a pretty well done sequel. I love Loomis in this film. I think he's great. Donald Pleasence is amazing in Halloween 4, particularly at the end in that last scene when he kind of sees Jamie and he's going, no, and it just gets more and more exaggerated, but brilliantly done in this kind of only the way Donald Pleasence can do, sort of disturbed and demented. I love it. And yeah, I think that this is also, this has Rachel as well. Actually, she's a good character. She's a good kind of final girl type character, portrayed well by Ellie Cornell. I think it was a shame the way they dealt with her character in the next film, as I said earlier. So yeah, good kills, great final conflict in this film for me in Halloween 4. Yeah, this one therefore comes in at number 6. Number 5, I feel like, is going to be my hottest take on this list, because this is an extremely divisive. I mean, people, I think, either love or hate Halloween Ends, which is coming in at number 5. I will always be honest and say what I like and say what I dislike, but I like Halloween Ends. Here's why. I think it's just a really interesting take on this franchise, and I will say up front, I don't think this works with the new trilogy, with the David Gordon Green trilogy. I don't think this film works in that context, but as a standalone film, Halloween Ends is an interesting story at the very least. At its best, I think there's some good character work. I love the developing relationship between Corey and Allison. It plays out a bit like a Halloween romantic drama, which maybe no one wants. But that brought something different and new, which I kind of liked. I like a sort of budding kind of romance, or an unusual romance in this film, which, you know, is destined to fail, but is all the same very kind of rich in possible dynamics. And as I say, I think Andi Matichak is actually really good in this new trilogy with her performances, and very believable. So I like this, and I love the Corey Cunningham idea, the character idea, with this guy suffering from guilt and an awful event at the start of this film, you know, and he's dealing with that, and you can see how it's moving him to darkness and to the path of towards, you know, the whole Michael Myers kind of psychosis. And I think it's very interesting. I think it's underrated. I think it's good. It's not great. I won't say this is a great film, but I will say I enjoy it and I like it. And it's why Halloween Ends, which I find the most rewatchable of the Gordon Green trilogy, comes in at number 5. You better believe it. You saw it here. Halloween Ends, number 5. Coming in next at number 4 is another underrated, I think, Halloween franchise film, another one that was more of a standalone film, but I know there are many of you that are fans of this film out there. I'm sure there are those of us that will club together and defend Season of the Witch, because this one is genuinely, I think, a good film. It's just unusual in its take, once again, of the Halloween franchise. Season of the Witch, love Tom Atkins, love Stacey Nelkin. Yes, there's a bit of an age gap there in this film, but I think the relationship works well as it happens. I think Tom Atkins is superb, and the whole mask sci-fi themed idea in this film is very disturbing, particularly when it's, you know, when you're seeing the sort of the awful consequences of being a victim of this sort of weird techie experiment that goes on in this film. I mean, I think it's very disturbing, and horror sometimes actually at its best in this film. I wouldn't go as far as again to say this is necessarily an all-time horror classic, but it's very underrated and underappreciated. So therefore I would say Halloween 3, as I would say on the Green Man channel, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, it's a dark horse. Coming in next at number 3, we're talking about the sort of 7th film really in the Halloween franchise, Halloween H2O or H20, however you like to call it. I recognise there's lots of debates and arguments about whether it's H2O or H20 online. I don't particularly care. I think it's actually a good film. It's a solid story. For me, it does, for Halloween, what A New Nightmare, Wes Craven's A New Nightmare did for A Nightmare on Elm Street. It sort of brings something, refreshes the franchise in a good way, retreads some old ground here, but does so in a way which is still a return to form, with good performances, of course, as you expect from Jamie Lee Curtis here once again. And actually the Josh Hartnett and Michelle Williams young, youthful romance is a surprising highlight for this film, I think, as well, just because, I mean, at this time, I don't think they were either of them very well known back then? I'm not sure. I don't know them well enough, I guess, but I feel like they actually had a pretty stellar turn in this film, making their romance more believable than you get in many slasher films. Slasher films aren't exactly known for very believable romances. I mean, it's usually all about the sex, but I thought their romance was very believable. Good film, therefore. H2O comes in here at number 3. Next up at number 2, Now, we're down to the top two, so let's just slow things down a bit here. Of course, it would be easy for me, I think, and obvious to put Halloween, the original 1978 film, at number one, and that would be very justified, and I totally understand if it's your number one film, but it's not my most watched film in this franchise. As much as I respect it, appreciate it for what it did for horror and the slasher films, it's not my favourite, but it's extremely good. It's got great direction and screenplay, of course, from John Carpenter and Deborah Hill involved as well here, of course. It's the original, it's the best for a reason. There's good kills, there's lots of suspense, and as I say, great direction and screenplay. It's why Halloween, the original film. I also love the Annie Brackett character, and my favourite Annie Brackett of any of the films as well, I think, here. So Halloween 1978 comes in at runner-up, in the runner-up spot at number two. Now, that is my number one, which is going to be Halloween 2. And I think this does a lot that the first film did well, but it brings in a bit more brutality. But it doesn't just rely on brutality like, for me, the zombie Halloween films did. It uses it well. The kill of Karen is particularly nasty, but, very, very well done and well acted. And the kills are good. I think the story developments are keep the franchise interesting here. Don't feel too kind of overcooked. And yes, it's just a fun and my most rewatched in the franchise. I think Halloween 2. I thoroughly enjoy it. Where if I've got an opportunity to watch this on Halloween, I'll probably choose Halloween 2 over the original if I'm limited in time and don't have time to watch my way through all of these films. So I hope you enjoyed this content, I hope you enjoyed this ranking, and until next time, as I say, do drop a like and a sub if you're new to the channel. But from me, from Tom's Tomb of Horror, till next time on The Tomb, bye for now.